right, for just $20 an episode, we would read your name here and talk about how great you are. We'd say your URL. In fact, we'd say really nice things about you because you'll have paid us to. Just go to nerdandtie.com and click on the sponsorship information on the right on the regular website or on the bottom of the page on the mobile site. Help Nick eat. It's important. On this episode of Nerd and Tie, Tron 3's gotten the axe, Fallout 4 has gotten announced, League of Extraordinary Gentlemen and Big Trouble in Little China might be getting remade, Guardians of the Galaxy 2 has a script, there have been some bad stuff going down at Denver Comic-Con and at MomoCon, and we've got a special guest host.
We do!
It's exciting. And welcome to Nerd and Tie.
Man, did anybody else just get flashbacks there?
I feel like we've already done... Okay, so this is like the second episode in a row where we've decided to go back and re-record everything because everything went wrong during the intros.
Everything is awesome.
All right, so welcome to Nerd and Tie. I am one of your hosts, Trey Dorn. Joining me, as always, is the illustrious Firsters.
Hey, what's up, everybody? I stabbed myself at work yesterday. That's how my day went.
And sitting in for Nick because he's having awful Skype connection issues today is our last-minute addition to the show, Gen Prock.
Hi.
Hey, Gen, how you been?
Okay.
It's almost like we just asked you how you were 5 minutes ago and then had to start the show all over again.
I'm glad nothing has changed in that last metaphorical, theoretical 5 minutes.
Oh, dear Lord.
Well, anyways.
Great start.
Oh.
No, it's... How's everybody doing?
I'm good.
Thanks, as always, again, Prock, for joining us.
We're professionals.
We're excited that she was available literally 30 seconds before we went on air.
Yeah, because originally Nick was going to be on the show. It's fine. Nick's still in the title card for this episode. But then we couldn't get him on. And again, who is a very good friend of both of ours, decided that she would be willing to go on camera at like last minute notice. And so, yay. We like Gen, which is why we're letting Gen take the top story.
We are indeed. So, Gen, what have we got for us? Here's your lead. Let's hear it.
Well, you guys know that I'm a great big fan of the Tron series. I mean, I have a poster of the Legacy film, and I love to watch it so much. And I got really, really excited when I heard that Tron 3 might be a thing. Like, oh my gosh, it'd be so awesome. But those hopes were completely dashed when we later found out that the Tron 3 idea was being completely canceled.
It's gone.
Boo.
Like,
gone forever.
Gone forever. I feel so much pain in my heart. It seems like it would have been a really great idea, because Disney has been having really good success with their live action films lately.
If you're not Tomorrowland or John Carter.
If you're not Tomorrowland.
That's true.
Or John Carter.
That's very true.
No, I agree again. I looking at the sort of the response that the latest Tron movie got, which I believe was Legacy, right?
Yeah,
Correct?
Legacy.
Legacy.
There's only two. There's Tron and Tron Legacy.
I was trying to remember that, and whatever. But
Gen literally just said Legacy like 5 seconds ago.
That's true. Well, I don't know. I couldn't remember if that was some weird memory that I had of what happened 5 minutes ago or not. Okay, a lot of stuff has been repeating today. But now, based on the response that they got for Legacy, you'd think that a third Tron film would do well. I mean, the soundtrack was a hit. It got a huge outpouring of fan support. The merchandising and whatnot has been incredible for this movie. Well,
actually, okay, so here's the thing, is Disney actually did talk about how the merchandising was not anywhere near as good as they expected it to be for Tron Legacy. I can tell you exactly why at least I think it got canceled.
Okay.
And I say this as a Tron fan, and the film did well financially. I want to point out, it wasn't like a runaway like success like some of the other stuff that Disney had, but it was very profitable. What happened with this film is it's a casualty of Disney owning Marvel and Star Wars. Think about how many Marvel movies are coming out per year over the next 5 years. Think about
3
how
to
many
4.
Star Wars movies are going to start coming out at first once a year and then like twice a year eventually. Marvel and Star Wars together, just those two subsets of the Disney license. Then let's think about Pixar, and then let's think about how they are redoing their live action like princess movies, which have also been doing really well financially with a lower budget. So all of that together, think about how many weekends there are in a year, how many big weekends there are. And suddenly a Tron film, while would probably be successful, is most likely to actually cannibalize their own openings.
I know way too many people that would see multiple Disney movies like that. And that's just, I don't, like, I agree completely. I think there's a lot of potential for things to go horribly south once you get a Marvel movie and a Tron movie opening up within 3 weeks of each other. I think there's a horrible catastrophe waiting to happen there. But at the same time, with how much money Disney is constantly making, I don't see how they couldn't say, like, okay, fine, we're not gonna make Avengers type money from another Tron movie, but I think we're going to do pretty decently, and it's going to make people happy, and people are going to get behind that.
Disney doesn't care about people happy. Disney cares about Disney money. And
they own, like, all the money in the world, Trey.
If you're risking a Black Panther opening you don't risk the Black Panther opening for Tron.
Point.
Well, also, like, just feasibility. There's like how much resources do they even have to put on like all of these like millions of films? It feels like.
Yeah, I think the production resources are there only because they have the ability to rent space from other studios, which they've done before and would be willing to do again. I think it really comes down to again just the release, and I think it sucks because I'm a huge Tron fan. I've been I was like. I know so much about Tron. I was like one of the people who like, oh, they're going to make Tron 2.0 non-canonical for Tron Legacy, which was a video game which starred a lot of the original cast of Tron. And I know these things because I've been an obsessive Tron fan since I was tiny. I've watched the original movie so many times, so many times. And I really like Tron Legacy, and I wanted to play more in that world. So I'm one of the very disappointed people, also. But I think it's for stupid money reasons. And again, if Tomorrowland had done better, I think that also.
Oh, really Tomorrowland like killed Disney that weekend. Not killed Disney, but like that like you can look at like, oh, I guess they can bleed. Because that was not a great opening. Disney.
I actually went and saw it.
How was it? I never went to see it.
It was okay. It's okay. It's not bad, but part of the whole point of the film is saying how people don't really look for an optimistic future anymore. So if you make a film about an optimistic future, can you really be all that surprised when the very premise of the film predicts that no one wants to see it? I'm just saying.
Well,
because I see most major blockbusters throughout the summer because I'm addicted to going to the drive-in. So it's like, that's why I've seen San Andreas. It's why I'm happy I went and saw Spy last night. I would have seen
San Andreas just for The Rock, honestly.
It's San Andreas is actually not awful. I mean, it's not good. It's a movie you see, but you forget you saw it 5 minutes later. But it's like not bad. Like 2012 was bad. Like this movie just was like everything. You know what's going to happen before everything happens. And then they like the biggest subversion is they make you think they're going to subvert the cliche, and then they just totally don't. Like, no, he's gonna see a little girl. No, he's gonna have to stop and grab her. No, he's gonna have to throw the little girl to Paul Giamatti so he can die in the scene while still saving the little girl because there's no way. And then they'll have like I'm spoiling something, but it happens in like the first 20 minutes to a minor character. So, like
Paul Giamatti like goes right away pretty much.
No, Paul Giamatti survives the whole film.
Okay.
But Paul Giamatti isn't really part of the main story.
That's why, as he should be though, all the time.
No, he's he's kind of a like the story, like you mostly follow the Rock trying to save his family, but Paul Giamatti is at Caltech, and he's effectively giving you he's exposition man.
Like right now, he's at Caltech.
Well, his character is like in a parallel story at Caltech of him trying to get the word out about the earthquakes. So it's he's every scientist in a disaster movie.
Oh, okay.
Except because he's played by Paul Giamatti, you don't mind.
Right? I just want a movie. I could just deal with a movie of like somebody with a camera following Paul Giamatti around during his daily life.
I mean,
can we get that movie? Can I just?
You find yourself asking questions throughout the film, like as The Rock is playing a helicopter pilot. Why is a helicopter pilot that huge? Like,
right? That was my thought when the trailers hit. I'm like, I don't believe this, but it's The Rock, so I'm going with it.
He's literally estranged from his soon-to-be ex-wife, and the stepdad character is what you expect the stepdad character to be.
I wouldn't want to be the stepdad to any child of The Rock's, because I feel like I'd be under this microscope constantly.
The film makes you think he's not going to be a dick. Like, he goes out of his way to sound like he's not going to be a dick near the beginning, and then... No, he literally does pushing people into traffic, sort of like mustache twirling. I'm the stepdad in an action film. It's so dumb, but it's
to bring it back around.
But to bring it
that was a wonderful synopsis.
Around. Tron 3 canceled. Yet San Andreas got made. By a different, and that's why I'm saying if Tron was with a different studio, and the fact is that Disney created Tron back in the 80s, so they own it, fully. But if it was owned by any other studio, we'd be getting Tron 3.
I wanted to bring up an interesting point that I just thought of was the Tron animated show that got canceled, and I wonder if reviews from that helped to dissuade them from making the third film.
I don't think so. Only because I'm betting the people who made the decision to cancel the thing were like, "Oh, there was an animated series."
Right?
Yeah. Okay.
That
makes sense.
That's that's my theory.
Mm-hmm.
Oh.
But Fur, bring us happy news. Fur.
Happy news! Oh my God, I'm so happy about this. You have no idea. Okay, so last Tuesday, right? What was it? The 2nd? It was Tuesday the 2nd, right? We're all hanging out. We're all like, hey, guys, let's go check out Bethesda's website, because that's what we do on a daily basis. I know Trey does. Trey and I know Gen occasionally checks Bethesda's website. I've got it bookmarked. So
my most recent console's a Wii.
So imagine my shock when I went on my daily checking of Bethesda's website, and we were greeted with a please stand by with a 24-hour countdown clock going on, and all of a sudden the internet wet itself. Yes, everybody started speculating, oh my God, what's going to happen? Are we going to get a Fallout 4 announcement? Are we going to be getting an announcement about a Fallout 4 announcement at E3? Is Bethesda going to screw with all of us and just tell us the menu in the Bethesda cafeteria next week? Nobody knew until Wednesday morning when we got the first ever trailer for Fallout 4. Yes, ladies and gentlemen, later this year, at least it's speculated later this year, we don't really have an exact release date quite yet. We're assuming we're going to get one at E3 here in a couple weeks. Fallout 4 is coming out for the Xbox 360 or Xbox One, PS4, and PC.
So not the 360.
Not the 360. No, they're done with that.
Let's just be clear.
I'm being clear. I was hoping that we'd get an old gen release for Fallout 4, but that's not going to happen. Not that. Current gen, that's not current. You know what I mean? But that's beside the point.
I would totally play Fallout 4 on my 3DO.
And it's going to be in Boston, and it's...
Or my Playdia.
Going to be great. And I can't wait, because New Vegas was okay, but it wasn't as good as Fallout 3, and Fallout 4 is going to be kicking in them jeans.
So while you play Fallout 4, are you just going to make a whole bunch of Goodwill Hunting jokes?
I could. Hey there, Feral Ghoul. Do you like apples? Because I just shot your face off. How you like them apples? Yeah.
You're very excited about this, I can tell.
I'm so happy. I can't stand up right now because I'm so excited.
So I'm not really a gamer anymore, so I can't like.
It's hard for me to get excited about video games now because I don't have a new gen system. I don't have a PS4. I don't have an Xbox One. My laptop.
Well, you're too busy doing things like having a kid,
and performing, and all that other stuff. But with the availability coming up,
stop Sean Orange.
Right. Well, I guess I just love my kids more. I don't know, kid. That's not a call out, Sean. Don't get angry.
He's having a third.
He is. So, but no, Fallout 4 probably coming out later this year. We're going to get full details at E3, more than likely in a couple of weeks. It's going to be great. I'm so excited.
No one can tell.
Are you going to be okay?
I'm going to be just fine. Either I'm dead or my watch has stopped.
Watch, he's going to be starting to hoard bottle caps.
I already have a bag full of them. My favorite moment ever in cosplay was when we were at KitsuneCon that one year, and I bought a drink at the bar and threw 5 bottle caps on the thing, and the bartender looked at me, looked at the bottle caps, and looked up again and said, "I'm sorry, we only take pre-war money here." And I'm like, "Lady, you are getting a $3 tip right now. You are my favorite bartender ever."
I am understanding this joke only through context.
Right, it was great.
Because I know nothing about the Fallout games.
See, they use bottle caps from Nuka-Cola in the future, which is a soda that was big right before the apocalypse. And, yeah. You got it.
Bottle caps become currency.
Yeah, it's cool.
Basically.
It's great.
Like I said, that's the context I figured out.
Yeah. So.
Stupid.
Fallout 4 is going to be great. I can't wait. It's going to be so much fun.
Let's be very clear.
Hours of my life are going to be gone.
Let's be very clear, I can figure things out. I'm not stupid. You know who might be stupid?
Who might be stupid, Trey?
All the studio execs at Fox.
Well, we knew this. This is not...
At 20th Century Fox, because they're looking to... Now, a lot remakes are the annoying background buzzing noise of the universe these days. As the idea of an original film in Hollywood these days is base it off a book that no one's read yet. But we're not talking about Michael Bay. But we're talking about that Fox wants to remake 2 particular films, and one of them is a film so bad I'm not sure whether they think that property is profitable, and the other movie is a film so right that any remake is just gonna anger fans of the original film. And those 2 films, of course, are League of Extraordinary Gentlemen and Big Trouble in Little China.
Whoa, hold on. Are you implying that League of Extraordinary Gentlemen wasn't great?
I am definitely implying that the film that destroyed Sean Connery's career was not good. There are so many people whose careers were just kind of shredded.
Well, he was retiring after that movie anyway.
Yes, he was. Of course he was.
Yeah, I'm sure.
Yeah, that's what was happening.
I still buy it.
It's... So, yeah, first off, Fox wants to remake...
Yeah, let's dissect this bit by bit.
Fox wants to remake League of Extraordinary Gentlemen. As my iPad decides to freeze right when I need to pull the information off the page. We all remember the original film based off the comic, of course, very loosely, in the sense that there are characters from in the movie not really in the comic, and vice versa. It's an Alan Moore series. And, Sean Connery played Alan Quartermain, and it was a bad idea to make... Actually, here, let me put it this way. That film also got sued by another person who had submitted a similar idea film, and it's actually an ongoing theory, and considering they settled out of court with this guy, that they had actually kind of stolen his script and then bought the rights to League of Extraordinary Gentlemen to... like switch just a couple of character names and make his movie without him.
Wow.
Dick move, Fox.
And that should tell you, though, exactly how faithful they really cared to be, though, with the source material. And but Deadline's reporting that Fox wants to remake the movie with John Davis producing, and the movie project will be overseen by Ira Napoliello and Matt Riley. And they originally tried to remake this once before as a TV series in 2013, but
remember that.
That project thankfully went away into the ether. And so I'm not really sure what they think they're going to get out of bringing this franchise back, but yeah. The other franchise they want to bring back is Big Trouble in Little China.
Hold on. I'm going to play devil's advocate as I always do, because I'm ever the optimist here at Nerd and Tie. I think if you do it right, League of Extraordinary Gentlemen could be a lot of fun.
I think that's true, but
the problem with the first movie is in my opinion, I mean, and I haven't seen it in years, but I remember walking away from that movie thinking, like, did they just take themselves way too seriously for that entire movie? I think they did, and I think that's what the problem was. They tried to be this, like, sort of another X-Men kind of thing, where it was they weren't aware of how silly it was and how silly this idea is. And I think if they're aware of how silly this, all these literary and historical characters are being together, I think it could be a lot of fun. But they don't, and they didn't, and that's what I think killed it.
Yeah, but my problem though is I think the brand is so poisoned at this point that if you're going to try to, make a movie,
give it 5 more years, I say.
Okay. Well, the other film that they're trying to remake is Big Trouble in Little China. That right now The Rock is in.
Yes.
Which I can't be upset about that.
Well, okay, so and I'm going to admit that if you're going to remake the movie, The Rock is actually a really good choice. Mm-hmm. But I don't know if everybody's familiar with the original Big Trouble in Little China.
It's big and crazy and amazing.
It stars Kurt Russell and is pretty much what the creators of Mortal Kombat stole everything from.
Mm-hmm.
And it's perfect.
Where Kurt Russell played a trucker who has to fight people and save the world. There's a dude with lightning. It's stuff. So much stuff happens.
Giant gang fights randomly break out in the street wherever Kurt Russell is. Yep. I mean, it's beautiful. It's perfect. It's everything you want like an 80s kung fu action movie to be.
Right. So it's to explain the plot of Big Trouble in Little China is to ruin it for you. So if you have not seen it, just go.
I believe it's on Netflix.
Rent it.
I think they've got it on Netflix.
Yeah, I do too.
That might be what I do tonight, actually.
But you know what? Here's the thing, is it's on Netflix. If I want to go watch Big Trouble in Little China again, I can go do that whenever I want. And you know what? When they remake it, that will still be there for me. So, I'm not going to be one of it's not going to get ruined, but I'm just going to say the new film is not going to be as good. And I'm like, why?
Will I still see it if The Rock is in it? Probably.
Yes.
It seems like a RoboCop thing again.
Yeah, exactly.
Where the first one was like, it's beautiful, it's amazing, it's still there.
Oh yeah.
And the second one, like, if it's bad, then we could just ignore it.
Well, the I never saw the remake of RoboCop because I decided I didn't want to see the remake of RoboCop because the original RoboCop was perfect. Which is really too bad because I really like the lead actor Joel Kinnaman, I think is his name. He's on The Killing. He's going to be playing Rick Flag in Suicide Squad.
Oh, okay, right on.
Yeah. He's a really good actor. So I probably said his name wrong or said the wrong name, but I don't care.
We always say his name wrong. Yeah.
And so but that's I'm just like, this just seems dumb. Like, why are
unnecessary?
This is completely unnecessary, and it's it's not so much that these remakes are going to happen that bothers me so much as that these films, when they make the remake, they're reserving the weekend, they're doing all this stuff, and they're taking away a spot that a different original film could be in, and that there are probably really good screenwriters like submitting stuff to these studios of new ideas, I'm betting, or at least slightly more original ideas that we're not getting because we're getting a remake of a cult film. And like Big Trouble in Little China is a cult film.
Without a doubt. You're never gonna if you show that movie in any university setting or any kind of like Eau Claire style city, all you're gonna get is all those people that have you're gonna get either like you're never going to get anybody new to this movie. It's going to be everybody that's seen the movie before.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. I think that I mean, obviously The Rock brings a big marketing push that will, the film will do well financially. But I mean, again, this is all preliminary. This is still all in development on both of these. Both of these may crash and burn and never see the light of day. But it disappoints me when we're not getting new ideas and new films, instead getting the films that I watched, like in the case of League of Extraordinary Gentlemen, the films that I watched in pieces on cable when it aired at various times, or in the case of Big, Trouble in Little China, that movie I've seen like since I was like a kid repeatedly. And and while it's true, I did just lament the cancellation of the Tron sequel 5 minutes ago. The fact is, I was lamenting a sequel, now a follow-up film to either one of these. Well, no, not League of Extraordinary Gentlemen. That needs a reboot if you're bringing it back. But, I don't know.
They could bring Sean Connery back from the dead.
He's not dead.
Oh, he's not? Okay, whatever.
Damn it, Junior! We named the
dog
dog
was
Indiana.
named Indiana. Hey, Trey, do you know what time Sean Connery gets to Wimbledon? Tennis!
Tennis. My name is Juan Sanchez Villalobos de Ramirez, Chief Metallurgist to King Philip II of Spain. At your service.
Oh my god.
All right. We need to move on.
We do.
Yeah, we do.
Yeah.
So, things that are coming out in the future that should be happening. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm apparently getting all the stories that happened on June 2nd. On June 2nd, James Gunn tweeted, first draft, hashtag GOTG2, hashtag no spoilers, hashtag not even the title, with a picture of the Guardians of the Galaxy 2 script cover. We have a script, ladies and gentlemen. It is done. At least the first draft is done. And it apparently made Chris Pratt cry.
Yay!
Yes.
Because now Chris Pratt...
Because he's not in it. No, I'm just kidding.
Not only does James Gunn have the first draft done, Chris Pratt has apparently read it and was answered in an interview that he knows who Star-Lord's dad is and that it made him cry.
Yeah, it's
exciting.
According to, there's a lot of stuff we know about this. James Gunn said he wanted to get the script done the first draft done before he went to go film his, the Belko experiment, which is what he's working on right now. And he worked apparently for 48 straight days on this thing.
A lot of days writing a script.
And he said that there are going to be fewer big names, fewer big characters in the film. He clarified that the core five are all going to be there. So, it's like the Guardians, but so we're assuming characters like John C. Reilly's character and Glenn Close's character aren't going to be in the film. That's what
Thanos probably won't be making too much of an appearance.
Right. And that it will introduce at least one major new character who may be joining the team. We don't know who.
Iron Man's going to show up, guys.
I think the rumor is also that it's going to be a female character. So unless Pepper takes over the role of Iron Man, no. Although who knows what's going to happen in Civil War?
Civil War's coming out first.
What's interesting though is that because most of the cosmic stuff they actually don't have the rights to because it's off in Fox's hands with both the X-Men license and the Fantastic Four license. There's actually a lot of stuff that James Gunn can't touch, so he has to literally make up everything. Yep. He has the most creative freedom out of any of the Marvel writers and directors right now.
Which I think is okay because it's one of those things where I think a lot of comic readers. I mean, I'm not a huge comic reader. I've the most that I've been keeping up with things with is the new Squirrel Girl comic. I haven't read Maze yet though, so don't spoil it.
I haven't read it yet either. So.
Oh, good. We're in the same boat. Most people can say, well, this is probably what's going to happen. People going into Civil War, it might not follow the comic exactly, but we kind of have a general idea of what's going to happen because it happened in the comics. With Guardians of the Galaxy, anything is on the table.
Yeah.
There's literally, maybe a slight skeletal structure that could be followed, but no, I mean, we've got nothing. There's nothing there.
Yeah, no. So it's
we
it's
already know
exciting.
that, and we already know they can't use the original Star-Lord's father, which is why, which is what everybody I think is really curious about as to why it made Chris Pratt cry, which means we could be getting a reference to another Marvel character that could be appearing, or has appeared in the past. We don't know because nobody knows because it's not even anywhere in the comics anymore. It's gonna be great.
Oh man,
I will be there opening night.
Me too.
Again,
I'll go with
2017 Thursday night. Are we doing the Thursday night showing?
Yep.
I will, if I'm not in
Definitely.
Eau Claire anymore, I will be coming back to Eau Claire just for that.
Okay.
I say do it
I don't
at
know
a
if I'll be-
drive-in.
No, but they don't do those on Thursday nights at the drive-in.
Oh,
They don't do opening at
Yeah,
the
they don't do
That's
openings
right.
there. I mean, they do openings like if it's like Mad Max, I think was at the drive-in opening weekend, but they don't do the Thursday night.
Your drive-in
Yeah.
sucks. No,
Yeah. Hey, it's one of the only ones left in Wisconsin.
Yeah.
I know. That's so sad.
Yep.
We should go see Mad Max there.
I'd be down.
Let's do it.
If it's
Next
there
weekend.
in 2 weeks, I'm working all next week.
Oh.
Anyway,
And-
Sorry, your
and
social
Anna's made
plans
it
were
too.
hard to make on the podcast.
we've done that 2 weeks in a row now. Me and Nick set up our hanging out at the wedding. Anyway, we shouldn't do that anymore. Anyway, Guardians of the Galaxy 2 has a script. We're gonna probably get it. We're the release dates right now, May of 2017. The first Marvel movie to be released that year, I believe, is the plan.
I don't have their calendar up, so
I don't have the calendar, but if I remember correctly, that is going to be the first Marvel movie in 2017, followed by Ragnarok and Doctor Doom, or no, Doctor Strange.
not Doctor Doom. That
I'd be
would
down
be
with the Dr.
owned
Doom
by
movie.
Fox.
I'd be down with a standalone Doctor Doom movie. as
Doctor
he's
Doom
hanging around
looks
Latveria,
like
just
Duct Tape Boy. Doctor Doom in the upcoming Fantastic Four movie
Is
looks
Duct Tape
like
Boy.
Duct Tape Boy. I'm not
Really is
kidding.
from-
Yep, it's true. Anyway, so I'm sorry that we have to go with from another happy story to really awful, people are terrible story.
Yeah.
Again, what have you got for us?
Well, I don't have the information up right now, but recently, Denver Comic Con happened over in Colorado, which was a great thing. And the only problem was that there was hosted a Women in Comics panel, which is always really good to talk about females in comics, writing them and creating them, and actually like looking at the comic characters who are female. The only issue that happened was that the hosts were all male, and there were no females actually part of the panel.
Womp womp. Has anybody noticed that this
Really?
gender
Really?
equality panel has no women on it?
Really?
So what makes this more amazing is that when they were asked why when one of the people attending the panel asked why there weren't any women on the panel, and it's because they didn't know any to ask, which,
There were people there. There were guests.
Trina Robbins was there.
Yeah.
Trina Robbins is one of the utmost authorities on comics history, was in the building, and she literally, her response to finding out about this was, "What the heck, I'm here in the building." Yeah, so it's the response from Denver Comic Con has said, well, it was just supposed to be about the history of women in comics, except for the fact that the very panel description says it's going to introduce you to female creators and illustrators attending the convention in the description. And
Yeah.
it's just like, oh my God. Like, oh my God, their PR team has responded. And some people have tried to say that, okay, it was a submitted panel. Denver Comic Con is, not responsible. All three of us have worked for conventions
Yep.
for quite a long time. All three of us used to be No Brand Con staffers. And I know that at least when I was at No Brand Con, I was in charge of this. I was the events head. So I oversaw the panels department and the selection process. And I will
Same
say
here.
that while I know the Denver Comic Con deals with panels at a much larger scale than whatever I ever had to deal with, when you're picking the panels that are actually going on your programming. You need to make sure that when you accept something, that the people giving the panel are qualified. And sometimes you say to them, hey, is there anyone else you'd like us to ask to be on the panel with you who's a guest at the con? Like all of these women over here.
Do that.
And so Denver Comic-Con, I believe has a lot of responsibility in this. I will say that apparently Trina Robbins and a bunch of female creators on the Monday, because it was the Memorial Day weekend that this happened, she and a bunch of other people organized an impromptu women in comics panel.
That's awesome.
That happened on the Monday.
That's great.
So
Nice.
I'm sure it was better attended than the other one.
Yeah.
Where I have a feeling that way that panel went was like a lot of people showed up, realized what was happening, and then decided, never mind.
Yeah.
I don't need this in my life.
So yeah, the whole thing is everything is terrible.
Everything is terrible.
Denver Comic-Con, you need to do better. You need to do better.
Yeah. Well, at least they didn't make the same mistake that our next convention topic did.
Oh my god! All right, so
is this even a mistake? This like goes beyond a mistake.
Yeah.
This is a different scale.
That's true.
This is out of this ballpark, down the street into the next state, and their home ballpark. Kind of a screw up.
Yeah, this whole thing.
I don't know what that metaphor was, but just go with it.
All right, so in what is probably one of the more interesting subjects to cover. MomoCon in Atlanta, Georgia last weekend, of course, occurred. And cosplayer Luna Laney, who's kind of well known, experienced actually quite a bit of sexual harassment during the event. At first, where she was actually physically groped by an attendee. And she complained about this on social media because she couldn't find any staffers right away, which is, understandable. And the staff of MomoCon said they wanted to sit down with her and talk with her about it, which... it seems like a reasonable response. And so she went to go talk to them, and she got was kind of a lukewarm reaction from one of the co-chairs. And after that, she began to be harassed by the security team, who accused her of breaking the dress code. And The dress code, by the way, was that women had to wear shorts and full coverage bikini tops, which her cosplay did do. And there were plenty of photos of people at MomoCon wearing less outfits who did not get harassed by security. And eventually, when she complained about security harassing her, telling her that her outfit was her fault for being harassed by people, effectively victim blaming pretty hardcore. When she complained about the harassment from security people, she was told that's what you get for complaining on social media, quote unquote. So that happened. Now, this was not an isolated case of harassment. There was another cosplayer who, and we've embedded a video from another cosplayer on our original MomoCon coverage, who she actually, while she was cosplaying, two security staffers actually slapped her rear end, which is assault. I mean, like this is like without her consent. I'm going to be very clear. And it's and these are people who are members of the public safety and security team. And I understand this is a volunteer staff. We've all run conventions, but the fact is that this is behavior that wasn't drilled out of their security teams beginning like before day zero of the con is just amazing and horrendous.
That is okay. Even telling people that doesn't even belong on the what not. That is in the prologue of what not to do if you're running security. That is not even all right. Let's get on with the rules. That is like, hey, don't do this. Now let's talk about what you're supposed to do.
If you do anything, if you physically touch the cosplayers, you are kicked off of my con staff and burned alive.
This is
it's so inappropriate. MomoCon's issued an official statement
that was rambling and long and weird.
So their official statement for one of their con chairs corroborated that Luna Laney met with the co-chair, still blamed her for wearing they say they take victim blaming seriously, but then say she was in violation of a dress code, which again, as the full coverage bikini top and shorts, while it is true that Luna Laney is well endowed, she was wearing what is a full bikini. It is. I mean, and she was wearing volleyball shorts underneath the skirt of her cosplay. So she was following the dress code. And considering it's a dress code that requires men to wear shirts at all times, and the number of photos I've seen of male cosplayers without shirts on in convention space that apparently none of those people got talked to, seems like maybe this is just backpedaling. Also, the head of public safety and security put out a statement on Facebook.
It was
a
statement. It was a novel. It was a novel.
It's literally over 1,300 words. I put it into a word counter. Like he says he's going to address the issues, and then just spends like over 1,000 words talking about his history with like conventions and how much he loves conventions and how they're important to him, which is true of every person I've ever met who's ever staffed a convention, pretty much, even the dipshits. So I don't understand what he exactly thinks he's explaining here, other than saying, I'm not a bad guy. Because based on everything that's been talked about, of actions of his security team and the actions of his security team and his own personal responses based on what at least Lou Delaney has said he said, and I believe her, like, he's bad at his job. I don't care if you love your job, you're bad at it, dude. It's... Man, and this is like, I don't know, writing this article has like been a very, very amusing thing because
Jesus.
We've seen in the comments on stuff people trying to blame the victim, including one guy who challenged me to a fist fight. It was very adorable.
It was hysterical.
It's so
he
fucking
loves you
cute.
a lot.
The guy's 33 years old and lives with his parents, but he wants to fight me.
Oh, he's just showing his affection for you.
Well, right. That's
just notice him, Trey Senpai.
All I know is the man wants to come in physical contact with me very badly. But he still was talking about me on Twitter yesterday.
Just can't get over you.
I know. But
how can you with those soft, supple cheeks? Your face cheeks. Just wanna.
Dear Lord. We are adults. You do not challenge another adult. Well, because he kept claiming that the victims of harassment were making it up. Like, I'm sorry. I've been staffing conventions for 20 years. I've seen way worse happen at conventions than this. I've had to deal with way worse. So color me not surprised that a staff, and no one's going to make this stuff up, because if you want to draw publicity for, something that's happened, it's really easy to highlight the real shit.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
God.
We want some press. Somebody go out and non-consensually slap cosplayers' butts. That's the way to get press.
Yeah. So
let's focus on charity things that we're doing.
So MomoCon is. Honestly, it sounds like MomoCon is just kind of a mess staff-wise, anyways, based off of a vendor friend of ours who was there that weekend. It's like the whole thing's just a pile. Like,
not great.
MomoCon needs to do better. Like, Denver Comic-Con needs to do better, but MomoCon really needs to do better.
Like I said, it's in a completely different stadium. I mean, it is.
What the hell is going on? Oh man, this is this is a terrible, terrible world we live in. All right, so
but it's also great. So it's beautiful and terrible at the same time. Should we get to mailbag?
Mail Bogia, yeah, we probably should.
Let's mail Boogie on over to the mailbag, kids. Grab your letter reading glasses and grab a milkshake, because we're in for a fun time. Yeah! I don't know what that was. Let's just hope you recorded that, and we'll put that in for every mailbag intro.
Well, I recorded it because it's in the show.
I just recorded a mailbag intro first, Trey. Anyway, let's do it.
Never doing that again.
All right, our letter, but it looks like two letters, but I'll read it as one letter. I'll read it the way it was written to us, and I'll let the listener and viewer decide what they think.
Don't forget the subject line.
This comes from Paper Godzilla, and the subject is "Shows Running Too Long." Dear Nerd and Ty. Dear was in... Oh, no, never mind. Dear Nerd and Ty, where do you get off? Informative, funny, and well-dressed? Who do you think you are? By now, you may have guessed I'm speaking ironically and have nothing but good things to say about what you do. Nerd and Ty do not change a thing. Signed, Paper Godzilla. Dictated, but not read. If I had a TV show, I'd run that sucker into the ground. Bart Simpson, 1992. As you can tell, I am a fan of long-running American cartoons, but quality does seem to have dropped. But I still have my memories of when I loved these shows. If you enjoyed them at one time, what is one of your favorite quotes or moments from Family Guy and or Simpsons? Signed, Paper Godzilla. Godzilla roar here.
I did it for you.
Well, like I said, one or two letters, you be the judge. Thank you, first of all. I don't really watch the Family Guy, nor do I haven't watched The Simpsons a lot. But I did watch the superior Matt Groening show, Futurama, over and over again. And I'm reminded of one of my favorite lines from the show of all time. Now nobody can say that I don't own John Larroquette's spine.
So, I guess I used to watch both The Simpsons and Family Guy in the 90s.
Yeah.
And in both cases, I stopped watching a long time ago. The Simpsons because it got worse, and I stopped watching Family Guy because I got better.
I like that response. See, the thing about The Simpsons is that you still occasionally get like brilliant episodes.
Yeah.
They occasionally show up out of nowhere. I still cannot sit down and watch an episode of Family Guy because it is literally setup and then a punchline that has nothing to do with the setup and then a demeaning comment towards Meg.
Yeah, I really, really, really am like I have gotten to the point where I'm physically uncomfortable with the way they write the treatment of Meg because
and I remember the Simpsons Family Guy crossover that happened, and somebody pointed out the huge difference between these two shows. You get Lisa Simpson, who is this super intelligent young woman that has been told that she can do anything, and her parents love her to death, and they're constantly building her up. And in that same exact sentence, Meg makes a comment, and you hear, "Shut up, Meg, no one cares about you." And I'm like, how is that funny? Like, I don't...
There's a point where abuse stops being funny. Who would have guessed?
Right?
And the fact is that, like, the subtle misogyny, transphobia, homophobia through the whole idea of all people are targets that permeates Seth MacFarlane's comedy, as he likes to pretend that he's above it and that, you know, oh no, I'm really not like a bad guy. Like, it's the whole thing.
There's, as a comedian, I can say there is no such thing as nothing is off limits for joking. Like, there are some things you can't joke about because unless you are in that group that is being joked about, you do not have the right to punch down and make that joke. Like, if I make jokes about my pansexuality all the time, I wouldn't feel comfortable with a straight cis person making jokes about my sexuality like that.
Which is why we've told Nick to stop making fun of you.
Right. So Family Guy doesn't really get that. Seth MacFarlane doesn't get that there is, like, as a straight white male, it's easy to punch down at people, but you should, just because it's easy doesn't mean you should, and you shouldn't. Ugh.
So hopefully Paper Godzilla still likes us after we just crapped all over one of his favorite shows.
Yeah.
Again, what are your thoughts?
That being said, The Simpsons, one of my favorite Simpsons episode ever. Conan O'Brien wrote it, the Marge versus the Monorail episode, one of the greatest episodes of television in all time.
With Leonard Nimoy. Again, what are your thoughts?
I don't really watch either of them. I never really have. I don't really have many thoughts.
Ken, what's your favorite Futurama quote?
I don't know. I haven't seen a lot of Futurama.
Trey, what's your favorite Futurama quote?
That's a good question. I could be a space hero just like Captain Janeway.
That's a good one.
I misquoted that, but it's close enough.
Yeah.
I've been watching too much anime lately.
What is it? I just also watched one of my other favorite episodes where Zoidberg eats the flag, and they get to the Supreme Court scene, and it's just the vaudevillian comedy of it where they're like, you need to the court orders an apology, and he accepts it, and they said, no, you need to apologize, and he goes on a spiel about do what you must because nothing you can do would be worse than taking away my freedom, and it cuts to the judge. You are now sentenced to death. Wait, you didn't let me finish. Futurama is the better show than either of those two. It's great.
Well, I agree. That's
Mm-hmm.
It's a better show.
Because
That
unlike
is-
The Simpsons, it wasn't burdened with success.
That's pretty much. Yeah.
All right, so
We've probably angered a lot of people out there, but now they know we're all firmly in the Futurama boat. I mean, that...
on
Sorry.
the
Of that
upside,
choice.
since technically they don't know where Nick stands, although I'm betting he hates Family Guy.
Yeah.
Come on. I think let's not speak for Nick.
Yeah.
You
All
guys
the
can
times
still
he
like
says-
Nick because his opinion on Family Guy is still a Schrodinger's box. Schrodinger's cat. The cat's in the box.
The cat's in the box. Yeah.
Is Nick's opinion alive or dead?
That's the question.
Nick's fine
That's
in this scenario,
everyone's homework.
but his ability
for
to
next
care
time.
about things, is it alive or dead?
I don't know. He's been watching Madoka lately.
All right. Well, all right. So we need to move on to our final segment of the show, and that is, of course, the Vomit Hat Steve Challenge. Bum, bum, bum. All right. So
Why did that get like a sort of like a dark, like foreboding?
Because I was
Because nobody
filling
ever
time
gets it.
while I changed the camera angle.
Oh, okay.
All right.
This
so
is a shockingly short episode.
it's what happens when 20 people don't write into us at once, because
I suppose
we
this is-
we keep the level of news at a ready thing, and then we keep the number of letters at a point where we're under an hour and a half. The show should always be an hour to an hour and a half in length, but it's okay if it runs a little short. But the Vomit at Steve Challenge is where we are right now.
Yeah, let's do that. Let's do the thing.
Yeah.
Let's do the thing. All right, so the Vomit at Steve Challenge, for those who don't know, is every episode I read part of a book. And the challenge to you, audience, listener, person at home or at work or in their car, is to guess what book it is. If you guess the book right, you get included in the Hall of Awesome. The Hall of Awesome benefits are as follows. You get your name on the website and your name read every episode. And nothing else, because you're very greedy for someone who is winning something for nothing. So, you're just guessing a book. You probably Googled it. Anyways, the current people in the Hall of Awesome are as follows. Arkham Zero, Rena Innocenti, Cheesy McDamn, Krista, Slithery D, Shameless Otaku, The Random Ramblings Man, Corfan, Capitoad, Chris Graham, and Lily Saurus. Now, for the last few episodes, I've been reading from the same book. Nobody has guessed it yet, so I'm
Get
going
it
to
together,
continue
guys.
to read from said book,
Might as well.
which is a physical book, which is why I should not hold it upside down, because it's very hard to read when it's upside down. And we're going
Unless
to...
you're flipped upside down with it, which would be an impressive sight to see on the podcast. It would
would.
also let people know if you're wearing pants or not.
I am, but you'll have to trust me because it's way too difficult. All right, so here's your line from the book. General relativity is like a Trojan horse. If you know what book that's from, go to nerdandtie.com and click on the contact form and tell us what it is. Or while you're there, just go ahead and tell us about anything else. Tell us why you think Gen should permanently replace fur on the show.
Oh.
Tell us why... I'm not going to do that to Nick while he's
No,
not
that would
here.
be mean.
Tell us...
There's a lot of reasons she should replace me on the show, let's be honest here.
Tell us what things I should put in the background behind me that aren't a Playdia. Say why you like Gen so much and why you don't like Fur because of his pink lips. All those and more. Just go to nerdandtie.com and click on the contact form and let us know. We want to hear from you. We want to read your letters. We want to tell people your thoughts. And really, you can make Fur say almost anything
Pretty much.
because I choose who reads the letters.
As producer, he has that power plus for the most part. I just like reading people's letters anyway. I take good pride in that whole thing. And by the way, the lips are coral, not pink. Thanks, Trey.
You're not welcome.
I wanted to look pretty tonight.
Oh, dear Lord. Well, I believe at this time, it's getting to the point where we should wrap the show.
Yeah, in a pretty package.
In a nice little bow. So, as always, though, I am Traydorn.
I am Firsters.
And I'm Ken Prock.
And this has been Nerd and Tie. Remember, you can always subscribe to us through iTunes, through Stitcher, or through just anything that can use an RSS feed to subscribe. And if you feel like it, rate and review us on iTunes and Stitcher so we can, let other people know how awesome we are. And it's just a cool thing to do, right?
And keep on sparking in
in the free world.
Terrible.
Oh, dear Lord. And here's where we run away.